Yes. Yeah. So are you up and running? Yes, I'm fine. How was your now? It was good. I don't like driving. Can you go on or? I like yeah. I heard you want That's what I mean.
Janitor. Paul. Yeah, I think it was a good idea. Yes, no. No? Hello. Hey. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to our town board meeting. We appreciate you all that with your presence. My name is Larry Curtis. I hope you all know me. And before I proceed, I would like to really welcome you, all the parents and teachers here, and also welcome the Board of Trustees members of the Foundation, Board of Directors members, and our benefactors here, one them is George and Michelle, the original ones, okay, and we also have the family, our architect, Mr. Sicarelli. We have our engineer here, and we also have representatives from the Lions Center today. And also, and last but not least, we have today here the first time, and I think it's very, very nice. We have here with us the consultant of the Office of Charter Schools, Ashley Bucket, with basic needs. I'm not sure if I forgot anybody.
Could you speak up, Mr. Bruin? We can't hear anything.
No, we have a microphone. I don't think it's coming.
If it is, it's really low.
I have to. Right. What we have, okay. So on behalf of the board of directors of the administration and the foundation board of directors, again, I'd like to welcome you and call the meeting to order. I hope that this meeting will be an exciting and very productive meeting for the benefit of our academy. We have 3 items on the agenda, main items on the agenda. I'm not going to really repeat them. I want to save some time here, and I would like Ms. Guerrero, if you'd like to say something here. You're here, please do so.
Well, good evening, everyone. My name is Ashley Guerrero. Can you hear me? I'm pretty loud, so I don't know if it's too much. I am traveling down from Raleigh today. I work with the Department of Public Instruction in their Office of Charter Schools. So I'm happy to be here. I love getting out and seeing the wonderful things that charter schools are doing, especially when the stakeholders come together and get to think about the future of the school and where you want that future to head. Our office monitors and supports all soon-to-be 200, over 200 charter schools in North Carolina. So we have a large portfolio of schools that we work with, and we serve as staff to the State Board of Education and the North Carolina Charter Schools Advisory Board, which is the authorizer for any charter school that would like to open in the state. So I'm happy to be here. And happy to join in if there's any questions that might pertain to the work we do in our office. And I'd like to thank the Socrates Board of Directors and the administration for inviting me to come and speak to you.
Thank you. Thank you. You are better aware of the roots and regulations of government and town board meeting in general. You want to say a few things, maybe?
Well, I would say it's really important for everyone to, you're going to have a Q&A, so it's great for everyone to be able to, have your concerns voiced and the questions, kind of directed to the board in a public setting, which is great. Not all schools do that. And hopefully any concerns that you have can be addressed. And if not, if there's questions that cannot be answered here, I'm sure we can get that information for you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I would like also to call on Mrs. Brighton to say a few things. I call him later on because we have other things. I'm not going to say only few things. I'm sure you know about the history of our school. Okay, we started in 2005. The family work started since 1997. Okay, we had many milestones. So in 2009, started in 2005, 2009, we became a school of distinction. In 2009 to 2013, we got the highest recognition in the North Carolina State Board of Education. We were at the School of Excellence. After this, we got growth awards, and last year we got the highest award given offered by the federal government, by the United States Board of Education. We had a blue ribbon, a high performing national blue ribbon school. We all done it together, and we're very happy. Right now we have 740 kids, K-5, and we are working very hard to go for high school grades. Now, I'm not going to say anything else, but we have here, I would like to start with the first item on our agenda, which is social discovery master plan. We asked Ms. Carson is the president of the foundation, and Mr. Matthias Garcia is our foundation treasurer. So we asked an engineer, Dr. Matthias Garcia. Okay, and we asked, both us and the foundation asked Mr. Garcia to tell us, and he would very hard during the last 2 weeks to make this happen. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. I might not need the mic. Thank you to everybody that was involved, not just me, engineers, the architects and engineers also. Thank you. You guys gave everything to me on time. I appreciate it. Everybody that gave me okay. I tend to move a lot on stage, so give you that. I'm going to discuss just briefly what the plan for expanding to a high school, Socrates. So I'll be showing some plans and some ideas. And we broke down the phases. We'll talk about that. I show these pictures because I thought it was pretty cool when I saw them in the phase 1 land that we just thought was open by. You can see sort of what Larry alluded to, is our growth of the school over the past few years. You can see from 2009, we get the elementary, with the addition of the extra multi-purpose building, and then middle school in only 10 years. So that's pretty impressive. And I thought it was pretty cool to show. Immediately this. We purchased the land because we recognized we needed to grow the high school 4 years ago, about 6 acres, right next to the school. You see the red line here. And then we're going to close in the additional land next week, another 1.6 acres, which is this little wedge here. We'll be closing next week. The idea is to expand to high school. Very quickly, the idea for the whole project is to break it up in 3 phases. The first phase will be improvements to the current school grounds, including adding 9th grade and 10th grade in 3 years. This will happen over the next 2 years. The second part of the project will be to also build a large high school building, and I'll show you where it's going to be located. And the third phase will be to improve the overall campus as a whole. So this is the phase 1, which will start immediately. It's approved today. We purchased the piece of land that we're going to close next week. We will ease the carpool. That was one of the things we wanted to address first. We recognize that as we have students in school, we definitely need to use the carpool, especially in the morning. That's built into phase 1. We'll clear the land and grade it, and we'll install a soccer field with a cover track around the soccer field for sports events and for the high school. We'll also install modulars to start the 9th grade, and then we'll use the modulars for the 10th grade, and then we'll build the high school building. We located an area for the high school building, which is in this yellow area here, and we'll upgrade the playground, which is this blue side here. That will give us a first start in the project. We'll also stand parking, of course, which we'll need. On phase 2, we'll build a large building which will contain a gym and also a cafeteria for the high school. And we'll then move 9, 10, and then at that time 11th grade to the large building. And then we can use the modulars for multi-purpose, after school, or whatever we want to use it for. And also we'll expand the parking farther. And yes. And the last thing we're going to do is improve the something moving my slide. Sorry. So we're going to have canopies to connect the buildings for the elementary and the middle school. We'll add an extra cafeteria for the elementary and middle school as well. We're going to put a fence around the whole property, keeping safety, and we'll improve the gardens and the grounds in general to make it a one campus. And that will be over the last year. So we had a survey that we put out before the holidays. Appreciate the participation. We had actually really good participation, about 50%, which is really good. Just to get an idea of what the families were feeling like for high school expansion. We, on purpose, split it between K through 7 parents and 8th grade. You see the data here. And I'm going to show 3 of the big questions we had, which is, if we were going to build a high school for next grade, for next year, would you choose to stay with us? And you can see the response for the K-7 was very positive, almost 60% yes to stay with us. And about 10% will not, and then a large portion that will be a maybe. Yes, sir.
How many people respond?
About 50%, 350 people. So it was a very good response rate for survey.
This is the K7.
This the blue is the K7 and the green is the 8th grade. So I put them both together.
Which I thought the K7 was about 70%.
It's almost 60%.
Okay.
And we also wanted to know, for the people that were insured on the Navy side, and also for the people that were on the north side, what can we do to open the discussion? And in particular, for the people on the Navy side, what were the things that were the most influential in their decision, whether they wanted to stay or not? And there's a lot of data here, but essentially, there's a good match between what worries everybody, regardless of families. So, the last question I wanted to show was for the definite knows. What was it? Why did they decide not to stay? And there was 4 main ones here, very consistent for K-7 and 8th grade. These 2 sports and facilities, which we hope we address with the master plan for the growth, and then the curriculum and the electives, which we'll talk about after this. And I think we're going to open it for questions.
We also have our architects and our engineers, and from Myers and Chapman, if you have any questions, if you would like to say something, then please, can we have your questions, please? What we're trying to do is we haven't decided, we haven't made any decisions. We want the final feedback from you before the board, the next meeting, proceed.
Well, may I ask, the high school building, the square footage and the estimated cost and anything like that?
We didn't go through that yet, but we estimated that the building should be a 2-story building, including the gym, and also it will be around, I can say right now, between 40 to 50,000 square feet. Okay, depending on the number of students we're going to have. Am I right?
That's total of 3 floors is 42. Is that what you got, Vance?
50,000 square feet. Yeah, that's the case. But this is the second phase. Right now we are very much blessed in our first phase, and to let you know and let us have your feedback. Yes.
So what is that modular, about how many people are getting, or students modular are getting a whole approximately, and is it going to be, like, typically in high school, there's some classes, like science class that might have a lab, is that going to be housed in there, or what's the plan?
Depending on the program director, so I mean, students will have the 9th grade, okay, we can have there within 3, 6, 8 classrooms, anything we work with the first and second year, okay, and I cannot say right now because we haven't yet decided the number of students we want to have in the 9th grade. Okay, but this is a lot of schools, public schools and private schools have money. I mean, we cannot start by saying, go ahead and 50,000 square feet without having students in the high school. Okay, so we have to have the first students, first or second grade, or first grade at least, and then make sure that we see what the future is all about and see how many students we're going to have 9th grade, 12th grade. Yes.
Larry, I think your question was, when you're still going to have facilities in the middle school, the next day in the lab. It's not just, the 9th grade's not going to be limited.
Yes, they can have access, like the elementary school has access also to the middle school. Yes, this is agreeing this. Any other questions?
So I'll add to that. The idea with the modulars is to increase the population of the students in the first couple of years, use the shared facilities, and then have everybody move to the large facility. So there's two parts. Yes.
Just curious, of the survey, you said about 50% answered. Of that 50%, how many were 8th grade families and how many were K-7?
37 were 8th grade.
How many, sorry?
37.
37 families were 8th grade. 37 families.
Oh,
317 families answered the survey. 37 from the 8th grade.
Could you ask your question again, ma'am? We just can't hear you. Can you try? Does that work?
I don't know.
That works. Stick it out. More than that.
How many families of the survey, 50%, were 8th grade families?
I said 37.
37, yeah. So it's less than 50% on the 8th grade, yeah.
That's right. Any other questions, please? Yes. Thank you.
You have stated that you don't know how many students will be in the 9th grade. You don't have the number yet. So, how do you know, or how will you choose the 8th graders that are going to the 9th grade? Not all 8th graders will be going to the 9th grade if our high school is open.
If I open Mr. Precarious also prepares the option. But it depending, I mean, if we have about 67, 70 something students in the 8th grade right now, exactly. Okay, so we should try to do. Well, okay, I think we have about 72, something like that. 73, okay. 73. Now, if all these people, if all these 8th graders would like to come to 9th grade, we're going to stay with them, but we have to advertise so other people can come. This is the number. We, the board of directors, decide what would be the number for the 9th grade. If we decide to be 60, we're going to have 60, but no more than that. If we decide to have 60, maybe 30 of the 8th graders can come, they want to, okay? They don't have to go to the lottery, and the rest of the 30, the board can decide to open the school to outsiders, where you can have 100, 200, or 300 applications for the 9th grade. But we want to keep our school small, and we're going to keep it, clean, family, and keep our culture here. That's why we don't have to make schools great.
So are you saying that there's going to be a whole new lottery for the 8th grade process, and then for the 9th grade process, and the current 8th grade students are going to have to go through that process and not roll into 9th grade?
Not if they're already here, they don't have to do that.
Those that are here already in the summer, they don't have to get into the lottery. They are accepted for the money. Yes, sir.
Ideally, you get all 80 students to stay in this. That's ideal. That's all we need. That's all we want to budget.
The thing which is the ideal number we want. The ideal number to me, personally, is right now is since we have 80 students in 8th grade, 80 students, and that's the original application, 80 students. We wish to count 80 students in the 9th grade and go from there, start. And every year we end up 80 students, okay, so we go up to 320 students. We have that the expected number of high school students. So that's what we want. We want to keep our college, and we want to keep, a school, a small family school here that everybody knows teachers, and everybody does the best for the best leaders for our students.
It sounds like there's a little bit of fear that maybe some of the 8th graders won't get accepted into the 9th grade, and I just want to alleviate that. We would love to have 100% of our 8th grade attend the 9th grade. And that would be wonderful. So that's why there is a are going out, because we also want to retain the culture and climate like what Mr. Vermeulen was saying. However, by law, we have to follow open enrollment policy. So we want to make sure that we have this fulfill the students in 8th grade who want to pursue our 9th grade by still maintaining that culture and climate. So there should be no fear that an 8th grader would not be able to attend our 9th grade. We want 100% to be retained to the 9th grade.
Yes, sir.
What is the biggest K through 5 class?
What's the biggest?
The biggest K through 5 group is it 80 students?
Like how many students per grade?
Well, we have right now, how many students? We have 100 students in kindergarten right now. We have 100 students in 1st grade, and then we have 80 students from 2nd grade to 5th grade, and then we should have 80 students for 6th, 7th, 8th grade. But there we're missing, we don't have that number. We have maybe 75, 78, and we're losing some students. We're losing some students, let's say, in middle school for recital reasons. So one of them is that we didn't have athletic fields and things like that. We didn't have a high school, okay, or for people who are relocating. That's the number we have right now in section. Yeah. And then if we stay there, K through 5, we will stay 100 students per grade, and then go on with the age.
So theoretically, the 3rd grade class is 100 students. When they age up to high school, there'll be enough space for them, right?
Sorry.
There are hundreds in 3rd grade, by the time they get to 9th grade, so they'll be
Yeah, of course, it's, yeah.
Well, I had to hold on. Tonight, 10, 12, 12.
We don't.
Because the high school would have to be built for the maximum amount of students in a lower grade.
Correct. So
you can build it at 80 if you have a lower grade that's at 100.
So no, it'll all be built to where it's 100 students per class, K to 12. Yeah, it's all. So that's why we're adding the 100 on the back end to increase that population to 100 per grade, and that's as much land and facility we're going to have.
The maximum high school K through 12, the maximum 2025, if we will start this year, will be 1,220 students. Okay, well now the high schools have 3,500 students. They have 3,000 students, just the high school or 2,000 students. So altogether here we will be 1,200, let's say, the maximum 250 students.
So are the modulars a done deal for current 8th graders? If you're waiting for a number of commitments, what is that number? And regardless of the result this year, are the modulars a done deal for current 7th graders? Both. If 8th graders, is it for sure? If you're waiting for a number, what's the number you need to hit? And regardless of this year's, like if this year's 8th grade wants to happen, is 7th grade still your goal?
The number, this is haven't decided about the board, but the number that we have in mind is the number is 40 or 60 students for the 9th grade for the 2020-2021. I mean, this place is an important reason here because also it's the budget. Because we don't want to have a 9th grade that will impact the K-8 rather than benefit the K-8 rather than impact the K-8 students and grades. So we are very, very, very careful about that. That's why here the budget will help us, okay? And that's how I talk to some of the doctors are here today, to see what's going on, and also they are willing really to help the school grow as they helped us in the past. They are with us, they are committed, okay? And we have the engineers here to answer all the questions.
Okay, so then if you don't get your number, are you still going to proceed with 7th grade as the plan? And then do you have a deadline for when you need the commitment from current 8th graders? That's
the next step. We're going to call the 8th graders to meet how many they're going to be, and then we decide. If there are 40, we may start with just with 40 however, we have advertised the 9th grade, but we can go to 60, to have people, here to get started, so it would be good for the...
But is there a deadline for that? Do you have a date in mind for when you want this commitment?
After tonight, tonight the board of directors with the foundation will make the administration will make the decision. Okay. We are here to get your feedback, please. Is there any other questions?
So I have a couple things, and my ask, but I don't know if I need my here.
Yeah.
All right. So.
No, they do want you to have it like.
Oh, okay. All right, so my ask is just one, if I can finish both my points and questions and then allow you guys to answer. It was cool that you guys showed the progression from 09 to 2019. That was pretty cool to see the evolution of the school. Congratulations, pretty awesome. Also on the carpool, maybe if you just stagger start and stop times, might help a little bit the current state.
Speaking about that.
Yeah, so that being said, I'd like to open with a huge thank you to third grade teachers.
Put the microphone.
Open with a huge thank you to the third grade teachers. What a wonderful group. If you didn't know how lucky you are to have them, you need to lean in and see the amazing work they do. This group personifies engagement, putting students in their best interest first. We had a tentative plan to remove our girls if the first half of this year was not up to speed. I can tell you it was well beyond that due to the caring hard work of the third grade team. Without question, this group cares about their students and invests in them, ensuring their students thrive. It would be outstanding if the state of mind of all involved with the operation of the school was on par with that. So, I do question some of the drivers behind the decisions made and the initiatives being considered. Is it really best for the students each and every time, or are there other factors in play? That said, I am very open to any reasonable explanation. I will listen with those that I can get on board with most, if not all, of this being proposed. To date, I have not read any, nor had access to any concrete data or expert opinion that would showcase that what you are proposing is the best for those who are most important, the students. Reality is we have options. My family does. We have a wonderful public school we can send our kids to. We chose to bring them here. Not all families do, and we count on you to put your best forward and ensure that each student has a clear path and opportunity to do their best. Unless I have missed a monumental shift in education and what's important, when did library every 2 weeks become a good idea or even acceptable? How can you expect a child to read and enhance themselves without access to books? Not all parents can take their students to a public library if they count on the school to do that. By making this move, you have shown this decision, by making this decision, you have shown that that's not a concern of yours, because the change allows you to advance your initiative. At least that's how it runs. So it doesn't exactly show a student first priority. Before I go any further, I want to provide some context. Along with being a proud father of 2 Socrates students, I work for a global risk management firm. My expertise is in education and human capital. Human capital means the people involved. And with that, I hope my comments are not taken with a grain of salt as I've witnessed in the past. Rather, you take it seriously. I'm going to ask again why there is such a focus on expanding instead of being the best K-5 possible, or K-8. Rather than stretch resources, faculty, and facilities only to lose students and faculty, you could refocus on quality educational culture and experience for the students you currently have. I suspect you don't want to attrit another 50 or 75 kids again this year. You have discussed expansion in the 9th grade, and it sounds great if, in fact, that's best for the students. But when are we going to address critical issues? I'm going to hand something out here. Did we fix the playground? The playground today. This area should have been closed off some time ago, as there are safety risks. Or it should have been closed off until the safety risks are completely eradicated. This doesn't mean just digging things up, putting dirt out there, and adding a little clay and calling it a day. There's much more you need to do. You need to remove all the rocks, the mulch around the playground needs to be replaced. And if it's not closed off on Thursday, I'm going to send what I have to the state. And I will pass it out to you here in a moment. That's out for you guys. If a student gets hurt, breaks a bone, has brain damage, or God forbid dies, you will be culpable as you didn't maintain the premise. You cannot be willfully blind or ignorant, as I have now made you aware. The fact that a parent has to bring this to your attention speaks to the lack of operational capability in the current state. If you don't have effective facilities management and procedures to identify and address this and other critical aspects of the operation, you are exposed legally, and yet you want to grow. You may want to start ensuring the current environment is safe and educationally effective before you start worrying about any 9th grade or others. I would continue to say the school could be the absolute best K through 5 in the state, hands down. You do amazing things here if you want to be the best. However, you have shown by adding headcount and grade growth that would not necessarily benefit the current and future students. Educational opportunities are more important than giving the students you currently have the best environment to learn and thrive. With that said, what's really driving the expansion? Is it really about the kids or the students? If it is, great. Then you just need to do a better job of prioritization and communication. If you can't handle what you have now, and based on what I'm going to pass out, you can't, then how could you manage more? If you have not addressed large rocks protruding from your main playground, how will you scale when you grow? So, I assume you guys all own businesses, workplaces. As an owner or a leader, I would hope that you would treat this environment the same that you would treat your business. Sometimes it doesn't feel that way. Because I go out there and I look at when my kids play, and it's not safe. So, I'd like you to address the question about access to library, the fact that you cut it to every 2 weeks, and then I want you to address these pictures. Ma'am, I'm glad you're here. Parents can see these too. You weren't aware of what's the main thing where your kids play.
We have one. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Anybody else?
Okay, thank you very much. What is your name again, sir? Sir, what's your name again, please?
What's that?
What's your name again?
Matt McGregor. Matt McGregor.
Thank you very much.
Very welcome.
Thank you very much.
So, can somebody address the library question? Why are kids don't go to the library?
The principal is the most appropriate person. Say the question again because you didn't hear it. Would you come closer?
You should just be quiet until it's
So, the highlights were this. One, our kids go to the library every 2 weeks. That's not normal. And what it did is it advanced your agenda. And two, you're not taking care of your facilities as the pictures show. Those rocks aren't small, they're big. And they've been out there a long time. It's unsafe. You can't maintain what you have if you want to grow. So I want you to justify the growth by taking care of what you have. And I want you to justify the growth by giving the kids opportunity to learn. Don't give them access to a library? Come on. So I just want to understand where that
Thank you very
came
much.
from.
Thank you for understanding. Would you like to answer the question?
So,
Go ahead, you speak.
to answer your question about the library, the students here actually access the library every day. So although they're attending a formal class within the library during the 50-minute period that you're talking about that rotates between technology and media center, we do allow students to have checkout anytime that they would like to have access to our library.
Are they aware of that?
Yes, our teachers are aware of that.
Students are.
We also pride ourselves on the fact that we still do teach the students the traditional aspects of library. We do not plan to move away from that. As far as facilities, I appreciate all the pictures, and our facilities manager does have them today, and so we will definitely be talking about this and moving forward to help again improve what we learn.
So thank you for addressing the library piece, but I think that's part and parcel of the communication problem. Nobody knew that. Maybe some people did it, y'all did, great. I didn't know it. My girls didn't know it. They're under the impression they go there every 2 weeks. My wife volunteers in the library. Well, guess what? She volunteers half as much now because it's open half the time. So, thank you very much.
Any other Any other question? Okay, would you like to say something?
No, it's very good.
Now, I think we finished with the presentation of the campus master plan. Do you hear me? No? We finished with the first slide item on the agenda with the Southwest Campus master plan, presentation of master plan. Thank you. And we go to the second one, to the third one, I'm sorry. The first one is the introduction. The third one is Southwest High School development, feedback on adding 9th grade. We put some of this right now. High school curriculum, financial provisions, and questions. I think Mr. Matthias can show me the okay, and you also saw me what the parents want for the high school.
No.
You want to repeat that again? Can we have that again?
Yeah, that's like that.
All right, can we have this? Say it.
What he did?
Yeah, it takes 2 minutes, so we refresh our memory.
So in summary, got 50% response, 317 people took the survey. Again, we split it into K-7 and 8 just to get an idea who was thinking of staying in 9th grade next year if that was an option. I want to leave it on this one just because it's got most of the data in terms of what are the main influencers in making that decision to stay with us for the high school. There's no match between the K-7 families and the 8th grade families in terms of concerns. And I appreciate you making some of the concerns about that. And that's all. Yes. Would you like to speak about the room? Yes, please. Mrs. Dr. Kulibato is the chair of our curriculum committee. Vice President is the chair of the curriculum committee. We've been working for the curriculum for the past 5 years.
Can't hear you.
Microphone.
Okay. The curriculum committee are working, all of us are working for the past 5 years for the curriculum of our high school, okay? And lately, the curriculum committee, they have made some updates, and Dr. General will talk about it.
All right. This is basically the work that we've done 4 or 5 years ago on the high school curriculum. As you will see, the state of North Carolina has requirements that cover most of the credits. So really the freedom to have choices beyond the basic curriculum is small. So what you see here is the very subject areas and the credits that are required by the state. Obviously English, math, science, social studies. So this is the North Carolina requirement, and this is what we want to do here at Socrates, which is obviously we have to cover everything that's on here, but in some areas we want to take additional emphasis. So the areas that you see additional emphasis are basically the areas that are part of the charter, the mission of the charter. And those include extra emphasis in math and science as well. The math is not showing over here, but we're already doing some of the high school math in middle school. So that will count as well. And then the Greek to be an integral part to continue, as that's part of the charter. And then the charter also talks about a multicultural environment, and that includes beyond Greek language, exposure to other languages, like we will continue to with the languages that we have in the middle school. Some service learning, and then you can see the photo of that right there. That is, and the reason that's here is because with some of these stuff that we're doing right here is also considered to cover that requirement. So what we did basically a few years back, we went to UNC Charlotte, we went to the College of Education, and we spoke with professors who specialize in development of high schools, and we worked together at the time. Dr. Rebecca Shore was a member of our board, and she and I, for the most part, kind of put this curriculum map that you see right here, and basically spreading the various courses that are required through the 4 years of high school. And what you see here is English. We're going to see having for English, and then this is the math, and these are standard courses that you will find in most good high schools. One thing to point out is that we envision a high-quality high school. So you see, all of the courses almost are either honors or AP. So that's a pretty high standard. By the way, when we were doing this, we also visited some private schools like Anna School in Concord and some other public schools. And so here we have honors algebra, geometry, and so on, and then some AP courses. And then science, the same way, with the honors required courses and then some AP courses. Now, not everybody's going to be taking AP. So that if someone doesn't take AP, they will take the honors ones. And then social studies, and again, these are standard courses really that you will find in most high schools. And this is different here. This is about Greek, honors Greek, and what we envision here is because we don't know how many students from our school we will have and how many will come from the outside. If students come from the outside, there has to be some sort of a plan to bring them up to speed and cover that language required. And by the way, just to mention, all of these AP, as you know, these AP courses are accepted by most universities. And so by the time the students are done, they will have 70 university credits. And the same is true for the language. A lot of local universities, UNC Charlotte, Chapel Hill, for example, they require 2 years of another language, so they would have it covered very well through the Greek. And they can also qualify through the Chinese or the Spanish, because we have some excellent emphasis there. And so you see here the Chinese and the Spanish, health and PE that's required, and then electives. This is just a sampling here. It's not. It will depend on a lot of different factors, and obviously we will poll the families back again and find out interests. And as a school, through the curriculum committee, we kind of have a vision about what we would like to see at the school, and we also keep an eye on what the market is doing out there. So, for example, it's already the case that you can hardly get a job without some computer foundations. And so we're going to want to make sure that technology, we have a healthy set of courses that address technology. What they are, this is just a sampling here, so it's not to give some idea to be developed. All right, so decision factors, this is just general for the high school, and as Mr. Brola said earlier, we're showing you a lot of preliminary information because we want to hear your feedback. And then we'll go back and study it and then make some decisions. A lot of this stuff hasn't been decided yet. The master plan, the board has discussed it many times before, and we feel a little bit more comfortable with the layout of the campus. We've had plans to buy additional land for a number of years, and we've been doing that, and some more will happen next week. But some of the other details, including are we going to have a ninth grade this year or next year? We haven't taken a definitive decision on that yet. What are some of the decision factors? Include, how many students are we going to have? Obviously, if nobody's interested, that would be a pretty strong signal. We saw the numbers before, and hopefully. It's pretty difficult, even with a survey, asking parents if they're going to be interested to stay at Socrates, that, I would say maybe show me what you got first and then I will decide. So I understand that. And so as we show you some more details and you see the master plan and you see, okay, there is a plan for drop-off and pick-up, and a second exit, and sports. Sports has been a big issue in the past, and, are you going to be addressing technology, and, where are you taking this? Are you going to have an arts school, or something that addresses STEM? And so I imagine as more details become available, with your help, and it's good, for you to raise questions, because that makes us think and make sure we don't miss anything as well, that more people will be interested in this. So we envision gradual organic growth, that means from within the school, financial self-sufficiency, and positive impact on the KEA. If we're discussing a situation where we're going to move towards a high school, but in order to do that, we have to cut the funding of the KEA, that's not something that I'm comfortable with. So, and I imagine none of you is comfortable with something like that either. That's all I have on the curriculum, really. And this, like I said, these are things that were developed a few years back. In the meantime, after, the last time we had this conversation about high school, it all kind of came down to the financials, and we decided we couldn't move forward and have financial self-sufficiency and a positive impact on the KEA, so we decided not to go. So this has we've already been there and made that decision at that time. So now the situation has changed quite a bit. We have land and more students. So with more students deciding to go towards high school, that will make the financial plan to be more positive. But it seems that last meeting, Mr. Perrolas and I and Dr. Filipagos had some further conversations with CPCC and also with against Charlotte about some ideas like dual enrollment and taking courses here on campus that will count college credit and things like that. That's something that we've discussed with multiple people, and those are ongoing conversations. That's all I can tell you at this point. We don't have something definite, but there was for sure an interest on the part of CPCC and UNC Charlotte to work with us in that direction. Any questions?
I don't need a mic. Is ninth grade starting in August of this year?
We don't know that. We decided as soon as we decide.
I have a question.
Yes. Speak right into it, please.
Rather than making 6 foreign language credits a requirement for those high schoolers, could it not be a consideration to consider credits they're already getting to cover what the state requires, and then maybe still just require 4 of them throughout their high school career, rather than making them stack multiple languages in one school year? Because if you're getting 3, could that not count for something, and maybe they could need 4 rather than 6? 6 seems excessive.
Okay, that's a point of view, that's a perspective. Some people might feel they agree with you and some people not. One of the considerations is that as part of the charter that we have, we want to focus on multicultural issues, and language is a big part of culture. And so that's where that is coming from. And also, a lot of that, but not the Greek part, but the others are electives. So, well, I don't remember exactly how it works, but so it could be that someone could finish, but I imagine because Greek is such an important part of the charter that you will continue to have that as a required course for the 4 years, and that's what the 4 credits.
But those 4 credits can't count as the 2 credits that the state requires?
The state, as far as I recall, unless someone corrects me, the state doesn't require any word, languages, and cultures, and that's a 0 right there.
Okay, I didn't see it later, but so Socrates does require the other 2 and 4 Greek?
Yeah.
You mentioned when you opened that there wasn't much room for electives, and that a lot of people were asking for electives. It just seemed to me like that was a feasible way to create one.
Well, there is in a way. I mean, you have these electives right here, arts and humanities, and I think that was technology and additional courses like the ones we have listed later on. But we also want to focus on the languages.
I just wanted to add that our guidance counselor has also, our current one in the past has worked with different high school guidance counselors, and depending on what students want to do after high school, which colleges they choose to pursue, those colleges want to see that even after middle school, even having earned 4 language credits here at Socrates Middle School, and when they go to high school, they want to see that they're continuing a foreign language track. So that's something else to consider, and that's why the curriculum committee is working through each other.
Yeah, thanks. But one more thing is that some of those credits will be satisfied through the middle school courses.
So they may not necessarily have to take 6 foreign languages in high school. Not necessarily.
That's correct. That's correct.
Keep in mind, however, that the mission of the school, accepted, approved by the North Carolina State Board of Education, is a partial immersion, Greek immersion school. So this is our mission. And I want to tell you, a lot of people, not Greek, I'm talking about Greek Americans, a lot of Americans right now, they're all even going to Greece with scholarships and study archaeology, study, literature or whatever. Now, this is not also we have partnerships, not only local partnerships with universities, but we have also international partnerships, and also with other universities besides UNCC or CPCC. We also have with the University of Connecticut. I mean, every year the 7th grades are going to Greece, sponsored. By the way, I forgot Mr. Tassi, one of our practice came in my office yesterday, gave me the $20,000 to cover the trip of our seventh graders to Greece. Anyway, this pattern should be increased because we are a global. We want to become a global school, and that's how we are characterized. We are a great global school. Language, Greek language. And another thing is that we have to continue with the Greek language and also in the high school. And we haven't, in the beginning, we haven't put the Greek language because they're Greeks. Because we put that Greek language because of the importance of the Greek language. It's all about the Greek culture, the arts, science, mathematics. You see all the words we use in chemistry, mathematics, and science are Greek words. So, that's why we are a unique school. We are a different school. And we're going to be able to give the school a high quality school from other public schools. Okay, some people, of course, want to go to a big school now. We want to be now. Okay, they can go over there. They may have some more electives, but even that, they may not get the electives that they want to get in. I had as an example, my granddaughter who wanted to get to, I'm going to Bedford High School anyway, I don't want to, but she asked for the course to get in, to take, and says, I'm sorry, it's closed. We don't have it for them. But here what we want to do is to really come up with a curriculum that fits the needs of our current students, we have here. Many of the 8th grade students have different things in mind, what they want to become. And so, in the direction of our school, we would like to have the direction of our school quite according to the needs of you, the parents of our graders here. That's the very important thing we want to do. And there are so many directions. Another direction, which is the trend, will be the trend in the future, will be college career graduates. Okay? College courses, AP courses, all classes, We want to be the best of the best we can do. And keep the small group, keep this school unique and small. Any other questions? Anyway, I didn't see, I'm not sure if you show that. I'm sorry, yes. Yes?
About the language credits.
About the project?
About the language credits in the school.
Yes, let's clear this out before you ask. I know what you're doing. Now, our kids here, we have as an evaluation of the language here, especially of the Greek language, we have the formal Greek language exams conducted by the Greek government, from the Minister of the Greek language, Minister of Greek Education. Okay, we are monitoring the Greek Orthodox Cathedral. It's the formal authorized examination center. Okay, it's all over the world. Is the authorized centers. So they take the formal Greek exams. Okay, at the age up to the age 12, they're getting at level A2. Okay, this level A2 awards them at university later on at university level 3 credits. Now, if they get the B1 level, most of a lot of kids here take it. We have very good, successful students here. If they get the B1 certificate, they get 6 full credits. Every student that leaves our Socrates Academy here and they can get that B1, if they are here, they can get it after the 8th grade. They can get out of the school here with 6 full credits, university credits. Okay? And also, they get credits in high school. So kids living 8th grade from here, if they stay here, but if they go to another high school, they get credits from the Greek language. So this is, and it's not because we're fixed, because we believe that the Greek heritage belongs to humanity and not just Greeks. And I know that most of you American people and you in other nations, because we are diversified school here, they love Greek and they love Greek culture, arts. If you want to study, you're going to be a doctor, if you're going to be an engineer, if you're going to be an architect, here they are engineers, if they help you, you know, to the Greek, how many Greek technology we have there. I'm not sure if I answered the question.
You answered one of my questions versus about the credits, but I have two other questions. Are class sizes going to be capped at 20 or 22?
The class size is 20. It's for us, it's 20 after the K8. Because that's what, it is another unique advantage we have here as a small school. We have to have, we don't have classes of 21 or 22. We have to keep it at 21. It's mandatory for us.
And last question is, you said that curriculum is going to be all honors AP classes. Is that understand that correctly?
I think Mexico is going to have most of them.
Yeah, no, I think the way that it's designed here it goes all almost to AP.
So no regular classes be available?
Pardon me?
Would regular curriculum have like basic English, basic math?
Well, I don't, to be honest with you, I don't know what the standard is by the state on how they designate an honors course. I know the AP courses have a specific curriculum, so it is what it is. You know, those it's controlled by the college board. And the honors, I don't know what the level is for that, but I guess you see some ideas on here. You see that maybe I hesitated a little bit with one thing or the other because we haven't come to final decisions yet on a lot of these things. But I know what we would really like to have is a high-quality high school. And so the questions that you asked about class size, that's a good one, and some of the other questions, we're going to do whatever we can to have a high-quality high school. So I don't know, Rula said 20 students per class. That's great, and that's the absolute for K-8. I don't know if I can make that commitment to you for the 9th and 10th and 11th and 12th. I mean, if you have one elective and you have 25 students that want to get in it, you have another one with 15, somehow you will have to make some concessions. We're not there yet.
For this, we have to get the approval from the state, North Carolina State Board of Education, in order to change the mandatory 20 per class. Okay? We can do this, as I said, but we have to take it. And everything we can change from our mission, we have to get the approval of the North Carolina State Board of Education. We can't change our mission. Okay? So, yes.
Another question.
Oh, that's good.
All right, talk.
Yes, I was just wondering, looking at, we're talking about potentially 9th grade and maybe next year, maybe beyond, right? Taking the considerations, but would this be like a phased approach in terms of the rollout to organize 1 year and then 2 years down the road? Okay.
Yes, that's exactly the case.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
Yeah, it's every year migration.
Yeah, gotcha.
Every year migration. Any other questions, please? Any other questions?
Would it be more appropriate in a high school setting rather than asking about the class size cap? Would it be more appropriate in a high school setting instead of saying what's the class size cap, just because the children aren't necessarily divided by classrooms like they are in K-8? Would it be more appropriate to ask your goal for graduating class size, like the class of 2025? What is your goal number for those students who graduated that year? Do you have that in mind?
If I answer to you, if we start 60 students,
in a perfect world,
in a perfect world, there'll be 100.
Thank you.
That's an okay.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, that would be a perfect.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Just like every grade that we have in every class, in every grade is 100.
Okay.
Yes, that's right. As I said before, the maximum number of K-12 here students will be no more than 1,200, but if this happens, it can be to 1,300. Now, before, I just wanted to make sure here, before, Mr. Matias, I'm not sure if that was correct. Before you said in the question, if Socrates Academy High School was an option in 2020, before the slide that you showed, if Socrates Academy High School was an option in 2020, 2021, would you choose to enroll your child here? This is the question asked from the 8th graders, current 8th graders. And the families asked, replied, yes, 37.5%, 37.5%, okay? Then no said 35%, again, a little focus, and then we have the maybe. This maybe plays an important role here, the maybe. If the maybe is 35%, 30%, let's say, and the other one is 37%, it makes up 67%. Already, they may decide to stay with our school here from 9th grade. Thank you. Any other question, please? Any other question? Thank you very much. Let's go to the next item of our agenda. The next item on our agenda is financial commitments, but before I go to that, I invite Mr. Michel, the treasurer, or the vice president, about what the best to say, you'd like to say for this, what we are about our budget. As far as the budget is concerned, like we said earlier, if this is going to high school, our goal is not to have a negative impact on the K-8 program. Whatever we do as far as increasing or adding grades, we're going to do it with additional funding from state, along with funds that we raise locally as well. The goal here is to do the financing and everything through the foundation. For many of you, I'm not sure if you know, but the foundation that we have here at the school is technically the owners of the properties and the land and everything around. The foundation is the one that's going to sign a note with the banks, take the loan out, do things like that. We as a board are going to hopefully manage all that and also maintain the strict level of budget control that we can and that we're required by the state. But again, we're going to need to go to the banks to get funding, to get a loan and everything like that. So, Matthias, you want to elaborate on that as well? As far as what the budgets and everything is going to take as far as the construction and everything?
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why we did it phases. We didn't want negative impact and we were responsible. So yeah, the first phase, that goes to the Board of Bank and do some of our conferences as well through the year to cover the cost of the construction. Want to get into the details of
Do what?
Get into the details of the actual
If
numbers.
you don't mind, I think that's what Floyd is looking for. You just, what is the balance, you know what I'm saying? Now, what is our situation right now? Are we in good situation? Where you know?
Yeah, the budget situation right now is good. I know the reason why we wanted to grow the school is because like 3 years in, this school will be in a much better place by doing that with the students. So it's always going to be done in a way that we're not going to negatively impact the school. Right now, the cost of phase 1, right now, we're looking at around $7 million. $7 million. total for, and that's most of the costs coming in phase ones because of moving the land and moving the the utilities and all that, the fields, all permitting, all the stuff. So it's going to come in phase one. Phase two, most of the costs will come from actually building in the gym, which we don't have the numbers for that just yet. But most of the costs, which is $7 million, will come in from the initial phase one.
Can you put your phase one slide back up there so we can see it?
Phase one slide.
And that one includes the improvement of the playground.
I need to be done before then.
Do you have a question about it? Yeah.
You said $7 million to accomplish those plans, sir?
Yeah.
Is that including things that have already been done as far as the land allocation? So there's still land we need to buy?
Yeah, okay. So the purchase of the land is not included in the $7 million. That's already that will be taken care of.
Oh.
Yeah.
I would like to say, Don said something before, and I would like to, I'm sorry. I would like to add something that he said belongs to the foundation. This buildings, this school belongs to you, to parents, to our stakeholders, belongs to everybody. We are a non-profit 501c3 organization. It doesn't belong to me, it doesn't belong to Andoni, it doesn't belong to him. It belongs to you. Do you know any other school that belongs to you when the kids attend the school? Okay? And we work very hard to have that happen. And see other schools, charter schools, if they have done what we have done here. You know, and right now to end this question, I just wanted John, of course, I just wanted to know that the school has a budget right now and reserve fund about $630,000, $700,000, and another $800,000 is a school year, okay? And we are in a similar situation right now during the current year. That's all I wanted to add. Yes. Anybody else? Yes.
So I appreciate the vision I appreciate the vision that you have for the ninth grade, but it seems that it's just a meeting, there's no concrete plan because we're still rolling it out. Isn't it premature to purchase more land if we don't know if there ever is going to be a ninth grade or a high school at all?
Is that a question? Would you really tell us about this?
What's your question? So I said, isn't it premature for us to buy more land if there might not be a high school, if it's still just a meeting?
I don't know how long you've lived in this area.
15 years.
Okay. Buying land, and there's two gentlemen right here in front on the front row that agree with me. Buying land in this area, you're never going to lose money. Okay, and if we just hold on to it, it's going to be worth more than what we put into it. But if we're whatever we do, even let's say if we don't go next year, we build something in 2 years or 3 years, then the land will be there. So whatever future growth we have, whether it's for the K-8 or for high school, it's ours.
But isn't that the plan though, to go ahead and have this roll out for them? That's why you're purchasing the land in the first place.
Right.
So you can't go ahead and say I'm buying it for the future. This is the rollout that you're talking about. That's what you're going to do, then that's what the question is about. It's about now.
Exactly.
It's not about 3 years or 5 years ago, when 5 years from now when my kids are no longer here.
Right.
Right, so I would want to know, isn't it premature to go ahead and purchase land for the rollout if you guys don't know what the vision is or the rollout is?
Yes, we want to start with this guy who said that as soon as possible, and the board of directors and the board of decision will make a decision. And I hope you make a decision tonight. Okay.
And I want you to also understand that this money came from outside, most of the money came from outside, from donation from outside. Okay? We're not allowed to use state and local money or federal money to buy products. And you understand that the government, the state does not give us money, okay, for the federal to build. That's why we're so proud of what we have done here within the last 15 years. And I said we should have come to the set ninth grade 6 years ago. When this building was empty, we put it. Okay. Any other questions?
Yeah, I have a question. So if you could put that phase 1 slide back up again, that'd be great. So that talks about expansion, talks about line plan, all these big major projects. But there's also budget incurred with high school needing new staff, possibly new principals, counselors, all that. Where is the budget for how to run a 9th grade?
Yes, the budget depends, as you understand, you know, it depends on the number of students we're going to have here. Okay? Every student that comes to any school, charter school or public school, is accompanied by about $80,000. Okay? So the main budget is there. Okay? The local, federal, and the state. $80,000. If you multiply this by 40 students, it's 320. If you multiply this by 60 students to start with, it's about $500,000. And then, if this is not enough, so we go outside and look for donations. That's why we're very proud of our benefactors here, the donors. They are here supporting the us tonight again, and they're not all here. Okay? We are here. We are the right people behind us. And we wouldn't do anything if we wouldn't have this great people. Every school has its own people that they love, and they are helping us the school to grow and love education. And they haven't done all these things. They have done so many other things. So just to say thank you for this.
Yes, thank you very much to all the benefactors. Thank you for our school over many years. I know that firsthand. The question I have really goes back to, you're looking at a K-8 school or even a K-5 school. There's 20 kids per class. There's 4 teachers per grade. But when you get into high school and you talk about AP and honors, you're adding additional staff. So maybe is that $8,000 per student going to cover the amount of staff to cover all the classes? As Dr. Julian has pointed out, you may not be able to say we're going to have 20 kids per class.
This is the money to cover not only the budget for the state, the additional teachers, the budget is additional administration, the budget is for additional for the PD, for the teachers, is for the students, is for everything. That's why you cannot start with just 10 students in high school. You're going to have at least a minimum to me 10 students to go ahead. Okay, so the more students you have, the better it is. But we don't want to have so many people in the first 9th grade, so we want to go slowly as much as we can do this, as much as we can. And if we can, the money we have here, we won't bother the KEA. We run outside. We are here, our partners, our benefactors are here, so we cover the expense. Do you think that working so many years, 20 years, do you think that we want to have a 9th grade to destroy the school or have a negative impact of our KA? Nobody would think about that. We would be crazy of doing this.
Real quick, Jimmy, about, I'm sorry, just about the question. That's a very good question, actually. And I have not seen the financial plan for 9th grade at this point. We did something 5-6 years ago. As of tonight, I have not seen it for today's, with today's numbers updated.
Any other questions? Let's make sure the faculty budget is not included. The faculty budget is not included in that $7 million. Is that the answer? It hasn't been determined yet. Is that correct?
Would be dependent on how many students.
budget, so it's not included in that $7 million.
No, that's the cost of construction.
That's something different. That doesn't have anything to do with the money getting to the state to local things that they were not allowed to do.
So
the money could come from other sources outside.
think about it this way. If you were to have 400 students right now, all 4 grades, that would be a really good position because you have the income coming in. And there's no doubt that will cover all the costs in a larger amount of property to build the entire thing at once. We want to do it responsibly, we want to do it slow. We want to know how many students are going to stay so we can design phases appropriately so we don't go into the hole really quick. So that is the idea of splitting it into phases. Let's get the students in, start the 9th grade, so the profit still. I mean, it's going to be done responsibly, and it is the cost of teachers is included, the cost of administrative staff, all that would be included. Yes.
Yes, I mean, no doubt, a phased approach seems to make the most sense, obvious, to ease it into your point, have the least amount of disruption as possible. It just still feels like there's pieces missing, and when you think about the personnel involved in this, they're the critical piece. They're the ones that influence the students and give them the path to success. They're the most important piece. Facilities are great. Teachers are pretty darn important too. So just want to make sure that in that phased approach, everything is being considered. As a back end, okay, let's just go get the bid. Let's do the best for our kids.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I have a quick question.
One question right here, please. Over there.
Going back to the phase, when you're talking about your budget and the $7 million, is there someone that can elaborate on how they plan on fixing all of those? Can we go back to that screen?
You want to have
Yes. Can someone elaborate how all of those are going to be fixed?
Okay, do you guys want to chime in here? Or I can show you the numbers. I just don't have them on that slide right now.
Well, even as far as clearing the land,
So clearing the land, yeah.
keeping carpool, the playground, just elaborate a little bit. Can you tell us what is your plan? And going forward, when is everything, when can we see
So
this happening?
we decide tonight that we want to build a high school. Which we decide tonight. We will start, yes.
The first phase will start by
No, that's all right. If we were to decide tonight, we'll close in the land next week. The reason why we bought that extra piece of land is we have to put the field inside. It would not fit. So we have to buy the extra land. If we decide to do that, we'll start breaking ground as soon as we can get the permit done. And
So if it's not approved tonight, the $7 million will not go forward in improving, easing carpool, fixing our playground, track and field. Is that what you're telling us?
no, if we don't decide to build a high school tonight, we're going to have to fix the other things too. That's going to have to happen. We're going to have to fix the carpool. We're going to have to fix the playground.
I tell you what, if it's going to happen tonight, it will delay next year, 3 years from now, or 5 years from now. I mean, I suggest the court make the decision tonight. I would suggest that sure. Also, Mr.
I think the question she's asking is, maybe you answer, we just couldn't hear you back here, is if we don't go with the high school tonight, is the carpool and the playground going to be improved?
Yes, but elaborate how you're going to fix all this.
Of course. I think.
Yeah, that would be important. Maybe I'll let the board talk about that. Yeah. All right, so here I got it right here. Okay. That's right. So if we don't approve the entire package tonight, we'll have to address how we have more productive decision. What are we doing? What are the items that we're going to address? We know the carpool is an issue, and we know that the playground requirements standards. We'll have to address it separate. The current package, which was cost breakdown from the engineers and that and burden engineering, that's the entire package. If we don't decide to go forward, we'll have to split it up.
That won't go away.
That's still there. Yes. And the land will be ours to start doing some things. We'll have to see what other phases we might have to do in this phase.
Well, just to be clear, a lot of the stuff that you see up there, they're concerns that parents raised during the expansion when we were saying, hey, how are you going to accommodate these extra children? Just to be clear, coming way back to that issue this time last year.
Yes.
Just throwing that out there.
Yes.
Well, now we've expanded, rather than preparing and expanding, we expanded and prepared.
All this work, it's not only for the high school. It affects mostly the whole work. It affects mostly the KH. We helped you. You needed more facilities, film games. We helped you. You need an up-ground, playground, upgrade. We helped you. Okay, we helped you that we didn't have even we don't have even a soccer. We helped you. These are on our master plans. It's not for the high school only. It's for the K-8 school. Because this work will continue to go ahead. Yes, we won't stop. But I urge the board of directors tonight to make a decision to start the high school, 9th grade high school tonight.
Does anyone have a question here?
Yes.
So I'll just say I'm extremely excited about the prospect of high school here. I'm glad that this is being talked to tonight and the decision is going to be reached. But the question I would have is when we talk about, the variable cost, how does this factor into the decisioning around the land, the building size, and things of that nature with so many unknowns at this point? What's kind of the strategy around that approach?
Let me ask, I don't know what unknowns we have right now. We have the engineering, we have the engineers, we have the board of directors here, we all on the same page. I don't know what we have known. So I think we just presented, I'm sorry that I have to take this. We've been working, I said, for 5 years, in the last year also, and the last 3 weeks, 4 weeks. And how many times we met together, Glenn and Mr. Sicarelli, how many times we met you in the past? Tens of times, okay, to make this happen. No. My shop is here. The big companies are still distributing here too. Also, they gave us quotes, okay? We have, that's the point, came from developers, from production. And here what the production say, how much it will cost. This doesn't mean, yes, it will cost maybe $15,000, but at the same time, we will try as board of directors, as the foundation, we try also some of this work to be done through, of course, donation from outside, get big donations, small donations, or whatever it is, okay, get it from outside, or also, okay, I'm not going to continue with the plans. Who's going to do the fifth track? Who's going to do the playground or whatever it is? So this is something that is not. But the numbers coming from an engineer, from architect, and from a license chapter, very well all developed. Any other questions, please?
My comment was really more of a suggestion. As a teacher for over 20 years in high school, I'm kind of listening and I'm thinking a lot about organization building like a comprehensive high school education. And I think about GPA, scholarships, just the variety of courses that are involved. And I just really have a suggestion, which would be to have in place a team of experienced teachers and high school administrators, for example. Sounds like you already have a guidance counselor in place, has high school experience, which is really important. But to me, that was just like continue the excellence that Socrates has already instilled. It's just really like building that confidence as well, I think, in the community that you're putting together a curriculum that is going to give them the same education that they're going to get at neighboring schools. Because that's ultimately what parents are going to want. They're going to want their kids to be able to get into a good college, and that Dr. Hughes will be able to deliver that. So that's just my main suggestion.
To answer your question, a little bit, when you are asked through the survey what kind of high school you want, okay, most of the parents, and I don't remember, if we have the slide, most of the parents, 67%, I think, okay, they want STEAM.
there was, I don't know what's the name, STEAM, science, technology, engineering, arts, and math. Everything. I mean, how can we get everything in a high school? Okay, right. Others, the second one comes early college ready. I mean, college preparatory. You know what that is all about. And then it comes STEM. And then it comes some other ones, okay? It comes, I don't know, we didn't have that question, college and career readiness or whatever. Now, we here, the board of directors, the board is made up of knowledgeable people, okay? So we do the best to continue our quality of education here, okay? And we don't disappoint our parents. I mean, how can we come to a high school if we don't do the same quality?
Just to respond to your question, I think that's a very good point. And at the next step, when we're ready to take the next step and really flesh out, dive further into the curriculum, it's very important to have experienced educators, both like yourself, as well as maybe even parents, maybe some people from the university, some people from the current administration that they know how to run a school. So we need to have that all of those people at the table in order to do a really good job.
The best of the best, yes.
I agree with you.
The best of the best.
Joe, another question?
Yes, sir.
Just to state, we're new to soccer team this year, and my son came into the 5th grade. He had doubts about moving to this school that he was at before, like a social component to it. And he got the soccer team and really loved it. And I think developing the high school is critical because there's a social network environment the kids have as they go through school. And at present, at the end of middle school, they would have to leave soccer teams and go totally adjust to another environment. It's got to be a hard position to be in for a child. And I think developing the high school is necessary to continue your unique educational program. So the kids can go straight through. It's a really good social network. And continue on here. Because I have to worry about, I'm in the 8th grade and I have to go and readjust and find new friends. I think that it's critical to build or develop, continue with high school.
And also another thing to that, I am so grateful my son comes to school. When we got the survey, I was so excited for the high school. And we came here tonight, we were so hopeful that there will be a high school for him. And I just want to be positive about this. And, I just feel great right now, and I just want, I'm just looking forward to this high school. And I just want to remain positive about everything.
What I would like to say here, I think, if we have some kids now, it doesn't matter where the kids, where some parents' kids are in 4th, 5th grade, the board that to go ahead with the high school. It might not want this student when they are here in the 8th grade, so they may have decided already for the kids to stay here until the 5th year, and we, or the 8th grade, and then they may send their kids to a private school, then they send to a big school or whatever. And, the decision depends also on the kids. In this case, the kids, But this school is not built for that people that they want to come here on the 5th grade or the 7th grade or the 10th grade. We here for the people that who come here to get a quality education up to get to 12th grade. Okay, and of course we accept everybody, but everybody has the right to stay, or if they doesn't like the school, they can go. What about the other parents we don't have here? We have 650. Do you see them? They just say the board. I'm sure they trust the board and the administration to make the right decisions. That's what I think.
So I want to transition to the last item that is on our agenda, and I also wanted to elaborate a little bit on the question in reference to like what are some of the delays and why are certain phases possibly not rolled out right away, especially with the expansion of kindergarten and first grade. And so I wanted to make sure that as a principal, somebody who's been listening to the committee over the years, that I also help explain that we were trying to get a high school sized field. Wanted to make sure that if the school is going to get into the high school, that the high school sized field would fit. So that was something that we've been working with the engineers on, as well as you talk about the new carpool and how that's going to happen, and things with Glenn back there, who's also asking us about how is that going to look next year. Whether we add the 9th grade next year or we add the 9th grade in 2 years, what's that going to look like? And that's what the civil engineers have been helping us to try to figure out. And the high school field requires additional land purchase. So that was what we were waiting on. Could we purchase that additional land to make the high school sized field? Absolutely, we want a middle school field that is better, that doesn't have rocks in the middle of it, that has a fantastic track around it, whether or not it's high school sized or not. So it was just like you talked about, being what your job is thinking globally and thinking ahead. We wanted to make sure that we balance, okay, well, why build just a middle school sized field if we know in 2 years we're going to build a high school? We want to make sure we have the space and that it's appropriate. So to answer your question, and that was also why, for instance, the playground, and that's something that Baker, Ms. Newberry, Mr. Simoui, and I are here. We will continually be here to support the kindergarten through 8th grade, making sure that they have the best and that we continue to improve, because that's what we talked about. We will expand, but then we know we have to expand our current campus to meet those needs, which also would then benefit the high school when we grow into the high school. But to transition to the next item on our agenda was the NC Access Grant. We were talking about finances, and something new that came out last year is the federal government offering grants for charter schools who have outstanding performance. And we have Ashley Carroll from North Carolina Department of Public Instruction, and I want for her to talk a little bit about what the Access Grant is and why it's offered to charter schools. And it's an opportunity for us, so we wanted to make sure we educated the parents about it. And then I'm going to come back and I'm going to tell you about why we think it would be fantastic for our K-8 school, which would also tend to expand into the 9th grade.
We got a few more questions back here, though. Are we out of time?
Did you want to?
I think we finished with the last question. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Who would like to speak? No, okay. You can email us. We can email us.
We would certainly welcome you to email the questions so that we can address them back to you. We don't have time. We don't want to not.
We go to the fourth line item, North Carolina Access Grant Application. Thank you, Mr.
Okay. So as Ms. Wright alluded to, the Federal Department of Education has a charter school program which gives grants to states for charter school programs. North Carolina, as a state, our office with DPI has applied several years, and this year was awarded a $26.6 million grant, as well as a $10 million supplemental grant. Those grants are, that grant money is broken down into sub-grants that will be awarded to charter schools in North Carolina for certain purposes. So there's different types of grants that charter schools can apply for, depending on what phase really the charter school is in, whether it's planning, whether the charter school wants to expand. And then the charter school, the purpose of that grant is to expand high-quality charter school opportunities to North Carolina students. So, and particularly to expand those opportunities to economically disadvantaged or otherwise educationally disadvantaged students. So that is the kind of purpose behind the NC Access Grant, and I'm happy to. So thank you for that, Ashley. And
will you get to access the K-8?
So before I ask Katie Reinhardt, who is going to be assisting us in helping to write the grant if the Board of Directors approves that we move forward with the grant. As Mr. Carroll was saying, that this is a grant to help expand economically disadvantaged students. Well, as Mr. McGregor pointed out, you have to look at what's coming. Well, something in North Carolina is that, as a school, having a lottery, you never know who you're going to receive at your school. So you have to be prepared for everything. You're always prepared for the unexpected. Well, something that's happening in the nation is we are having a large immigrant population. North Carolina is one of the top 10 states becoming a destination state. So our English language learner population is growing tremendously, and that is in a K-8 population. So we know that if we expand into grade 9, that already our population went from 23 students to 46 overnight. That's what our reality is here at Socrates Academy. So we know that if we could expand on what we can offer in our K-8 school by admitting students who are English language learners and adding that to our admissions policy, that it would truly benefit our K-8 schools, which would then expand into a 9th grade. We embrace languages. We're a multicultural school. We are a partial language immersion school, and so we know that by potentially, because this would be a board approval, modifying our admissions policy so that when we have our lottery, that we could have a weighted lottery that would allow for a certain percentage of English language learners that would reflect the local community, or it has to be equal to or greater than. We are showing that we are a charter school that embraces diversity, as well as we would be a leader in a school who can meet the needs of English language learners. So what I wanted to do is ask Mrs. Reinhardt, Katie Reinhardt, to come up and talk to you about what a weighted lottery would look like, because that is a final decision of the board that we would need to vote to approve. And if we approve this, then we would potentially move forward in applying for this access grant that Ashley spoke about.
Thank you, Mrs. Wright. Thank you for saying please, 25. So I'm a grant writer and a charter school consultant with Leaders Building Leaders, and last year I helped 3 of the schools that received the NC Access grant were awarded $1.5 million. So I was so excited when I heard that this grant came to our state. I've written 2 of the charter school program grants at the federal level, and their applications were 200 and 400 pages long. This application is 20 pages long, so it is a really fantastic opportunity. Socrates could win up to $1.25 million to expand the program in this school, just so you know what's at stake. So a requirement of the grant is that you add a weighted lottery to your enrollment policy. So in 2014, North Carolina made it possible that schools could add weighted lotteries to their school policy. And North Carolina has started, we have 23 schools in this state right now who have a weighted lottery. So what does that mean? So you can add a weighted lottery for you as necessary to comply with federal and state law. And in this case, it would be so you are eligible for the NC Access grant. It is not a requirement by law. You don't have to do this if you choose not to go to the grant. And then to give slightly better chances to educationally disadvantaged students. That's the purpose of the grant. And this comes from the North Carolina Charter Schools. So you might think I'm switching my terms. There's educationally disadvantaged and there's economically disadvantaged. In the state of North Carolina, when it started the weighted lottery, it was for economically disadvantaged students. So those are the students who qualify for free or reduced price lunch. But the federal definition is educationally disadvantaged, and it includes not only the economically disadvantaged, but it also includes 5 other subgroups. So that could be homeless or unaccompanied youth, English learners, students with disabilities, migrants, and immigrants. And what the Strike is proposing for the NC Access grant is that you would add a weighted lottery for educationally disadvantaged students, specifically for English learners that would be coming to your school. Now, this doesn't mean you wouldn't have Because right now, you can give preference to your board members and your teachers, as long as it doesn't exceed 15% of your population. And then you have your sibling lottery. That will all happen in the same order that it happens every year for your lottery. They're just saying you can offer a third lottery for this weight lottery. And that would be determined by the board, how many seats would be offered, at what rate. That's a local decision. The state does not offer any guidance on that. So that's just what it is. You guys all have local, you get to have the decision on what that looks like. The state has very broad language on the weighted lottery. So these are the schools in North Carolina. I know that's a really small font, but there are 23 schools as of now who have a weighted lottery. And here in Charlotte, I'll point that out, it's Huntington Classical, the school of Huntersville that was in this year, Charlotte Lab, East Voyager, and Movement East. And then right outside of Charlotte, we have Community School Davidson also has a weighted lottery. And they have found that it's enriched their school population. It certainly brought us challenges, but it's also enriched their school population immensely. So this is a trend that's coming. That's 23. There are currently 198 charter schools, so it's not a majority by any means. So the NCSS grant. Let's talk about it for just a minute. The goal of the NCSS grant, as Ms. McCara has mentioned, is to increase access to high-quality charter schools for education disadvantaged students. You all are considered a high-quality charter school. With your growth grades and your North Carolina report card grades, the state is encouraging schools like Socrates to apply for this grant. They want to see you grow. And I think $1.25 million will help you do that. So they also want to expand the number of high-quality charter schools, and they're doing that through a fellowship program where they're going to take the best practices from the high-quality charter schools, and then the practices are going to be set out to all the schools in our state and nationwide. They want to become a national model for serving education with disadvantaged students. So they don't expect anybody to be experts right now. That's what the money is going to fund. So these are the top priorities of the state board, who's ultimately the authorizer of this grant. They have to approve whether you receive these money. And, they want to see that every student has a personalized education, which is something that Socrates is already doing. They want to increase the number of charter schools that are compliant, and then ensure educational equity. So, there are some strengths and some challenges with this grant. So, in talking with the board, these were some of the strengths and challenges that came up. So, we wanted to share them with you. So, the sort of strengths. With the $1.25 million, it would probably be easier to tell you what it won't pay for than what it will. It won't pay for capital projects. Grants are kind of funny about that. They don't like to pay for people or buildings, and this grant is no different. But it will pay for professional development offerings. So when you're getting in your new students, your teachers can see training, so they know, what are the best practices to meet their needs. But this isn't going to just help the new students, it will help all students, right? They're going to know how to meet the needs of every child that comes in. It can pay for busing. EC services in hiring consultants who are not full-time employees, but you can hire consultants who don't get a salary or benefits, but they're paid per hour. It can pay for technology, curriculum, playground. It's going to add to the diversity of the student population here. Sandy and her team get to participate in the fellowship where they learn with other school leaders in our state about the best practices that they can bring back here. And they're going to bring in experts. That $10 million that Ms. McCara mentioned, $1 million of that is dedicated to the fellowship program. And you can do a lot of training for $1 million, flying in experts to make sure the administrators can bring in the best practices to the school. And then overall, it's going to increase the way that you can reach and teach every child that comes into your school, especially the educationally disadvantaged. So there are plenty of strengths, some of the challenges. You have to develop that weighted lottery, and it has to be one that's right for you. And it has to be challenging enough so when the readers of the access grant look at it, they say, yes, that's a challenging weighted lottery. So that's something the board has to determine if that's right for Socrates right now. They are in the second year of this grant. It's a 5-year grant. So if you don't decide, if the board doesn't decide to do it now, they have 3 additional years before the grant is done with the federal government. On the charter school, principals apply in, but as Ms. Vaquero said, they applied 2 other times, so it's not a guarantee. But you all qualify right now, and you can't always guarantee what your report card is going to be from year to year. You guys have been a pretty steady, high-performing school, so I wouldn't worry about that. Another challenge is there is a requirement for the fellowship that Sandy and one other member of the administration will have to be on campus 6 times during the first year of the grant administration to receive that training. That's a requirement of the program. That's just in year 1 of the grant. And then there's mandatory reporting and monitoring, which is true with any grant. They want to make sure you're spending the money the way you said you would. And then this might be the toughest one, is integrating these new students in. Right, you guys have a very special culture here, and that's maybe where some caution might be being felt by parents. Like, what does this mean? I'm a parent, I have 3 kids. I live about 5 minutes from here. I would have the same fear. What's this going to do for my kids? And I think that's something the board and the administration are going to make sure is really clear to you. And then, that economically disadvantaged students oftentimes bring in challenges. And so that's going to challenge the school. But that's what the grant is for, is to help you to have the programs and services in place for the students when they arrive. And that was my own thought. Okay. Sure.
So I guess to just reiterate, serving English language learners is a current challenge of our K-8 school. Knowing that the English language population is growing in the state of North Carolina, I was fortunate to, thanks to the board, participate in professional development at Thomas and Collier with a study about English language learners and how they're expanding in the United States. And just in the state of North Carolina alone, 336 different languages are spoken by students at North Carolina Public Schools. So the legislation is really working with schools and principals like myself to try to help schools to serve a population that is growing, and this grant is another way that would help funds come in for us to serve our current population as well as if the board chooses to expand into the next grade. So.
Thank you. I think we have questions. We have about 3 or 4 minutes for our questions, please. Yes.
I apologize. I have several, so hopefully they are things that are common, and I will be as quick as I can. And I specifically want to speak to Katie for some of these. At least to me, there's a difference in educationally disadvantaged and second language learners. Are we targeting specifically second language learners in our weighted lottery? Or are they just a part of the group that we are targeting?
So according to the grant, it's the educationally disadvantaged students. The numbers of that are English learners. Right? So these would be students who they're learning English, as their second language. So they would have qualified through the BOD testing, which is the statewide testing to determine if you need assistance acquiring English language.
But are we targeting them in the weighted lottery, or are they just part of the educationally disadvantaged that we will be targeting?
That's a board decision right now. They are the one substance that's being targeted.
Okay, because I kind of feel like there's a big difference, and I'm way more comfortable with one than the other.
Correct. There were 6 categories of that would be the subgroup.
But you are allowed to choose, is what I was curious. Okay. So, has anyone actually looked at the numbers? And I know that just like with the high school, a lot of it is dependent on exactly who we get and exactly how many of them. I understand we can't do any specifics, but has anyone at least thought about how much of the 1.25 we would get would be spent on making a place for these children? children, because I know you mentioned a lot of times if you do have kids who are economically disadvantaged, there are requirements for making sure they eat when they're here. And then I know we mentioned at last month's board meeting, there's a possibility of shuttle buses being a requirement. So then we're talking about purchasing, maintaining, insuring, and having people to drive them. We also mentioned in the last meeting about having training for the teachers to make sure that they can bridge the gap. Because I think within the 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade, approximately 30% of those students are AIG. So you may have children coming in who, because they are learning another language or because they're educationally disadvantaged, they are not with our high flyers. So we talk about training to bridge the gap. Has anyone looked at the possible cost of doing all of these things to accommodate these kids to weigh, is it worth it, or will we spend so much of the 1.25, then have a population we have to continue to sustain that it's no longer worth the 1.25?
So what I can tell you is that the transportation plan and the meal plan and the lunch plan are required of the grant. So just like when the charter application was written for this school, the transportation and the meal plan was a requirement. You all get to decide what that is. I will say that out of the 9 applications that were approved last year, every single one of them had a bus in the budget. So, and that is something the board is considering. Do we consider doing cluster bus stops specifically for economically disadvantaged or educationally disadvantaged? And that's an ongoing conversation. So as part of writing the grant, we'd be putting down the budget and actually doing that analysis. That analysis has not been done yet because the board has not decided whether they're going to go for this grant or not.
Okay, I guess my question was, should that not maybe be done before we decide to go forward with the grant? And then one more thing, you said it would be weighted. Obviously, the teachers' children and the siblings would not lose any places. My question is, I think we said 40%. Was that what had to be weighted? I can't recall the number from the last meeting, but would that be weighted out of the 100 that are admitted, or would that be weighted after the teachers' children are admitted and the siblings are admitted, so then it's weighted out of, I don't know, 70, 75, whatever that number is left over?
So it's weighted on the 40%, whatever the number is, the percentage of the seats that are available for each classroom, for the school that year.
Because we mentioned in the last meeting that we were already pretty close to the percentage we needed to be at if we're just talking about educationally disadvantaged. So I was just curious, if incoming siblings who are 2nd language learners are going to count toward what percentage we need to meet, or is it going to be in addition to that? Okay, so then it may end up being like 25% of the remaining seats that need to be weighted to meet the criteria because we've got this many siblings that aren't needed.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Go ahead. Question. Please have a question. Please.
You just stand up.
We'll take Mr. Jordan for 7 minutes a bit. For 7 minutes, like I said.
Thank you, very involved in the school and everybody else here. And we apologize to elders and basically we definitely support education in an unbelievable way because of course we came from Greece when everything was destroyed. I'm not here to tell you that story, but thank God that we're here and get there. Thanks for happening in America today.
Joseph, you are invited.